If it's Friday night, say yeah for it's Strictly Sports NFL Friday. Hello, friends. Anthony Florio, along with good old MF Michael Fletcher, here with you for another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday. Michael Bullock is out right now. He is attending a very special event this evening down in Bristol. So we are hopeful that he will be here before this broadcast is over. And if he is, we'll catch him up on the games that he missed. If not, then MF and I will just run the board here. But before we start, I want to send a huge shout out and thanks to our Imperial Grand Poobah himself, Derek Ferreira, Falcon Striker 445, who was so nice enough to help us out last night. Um, Initially, College Football Thursday was going to be canceled because of the fact that MF was out of the show altogether. Michael Bullock was, of course, out and was not going to be coming in until late, and I had work commitments beyond my control. So Derek Ferreira was very nice enough to take over the hosting duties of a very abbreviated edition of College Football Thursday that lasted only 30 minutes. So check it out on his channel, Falcon Striker 445. A special thanks to Derek for helping us out. In the immortal words of Anderson and Gallows from Monday Night Raw, Derek Ferreira, you are a good brother. Yup. That's all there is to say on that. So, of course, we'll do our other shout outs later at the end of the show as always. So, week 8 of the NFL season. We're just about the halfway mark of this 2017 NFL season. Got underway last night. We'll just briefly mention it. The Baltimore Ravens and hosting the Miami Dolphins, and it was all Baltimore all the time. 40-0 beatdown of the Miami Dolphins. In the last 2 visits to Baltimore, the Dolphins have been outscored by the Ravens up by a combined score of 78-6. I mean, that is unreal, to say the very least. So we wanted to just get that out of the way. We're not going to go into any further detail about it. 2 reasons. 1, the game was a snooze. Let's not kid ourselves. And 2, if we do go into it, I reckon that MF will go on the mother of all cerebral viper rants, and we do not want that here tonight. So with that being said, let's just dive right on into the action at hand. And the first game that we're going to get into, another game in London, England. Yes, it's jolly old England, a 9:30 in the morning kickoff. So yeah, you want to wake up and have breakfast? Yeah, you can have, not only you can have breakfast, you can have breakfast and watch football at the same time. It's going to be the Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Cleveland Browns from Wembley Stadium in London, England. This game will be broadcast on the NFL Network, and it will be Greg Gumbo with Trent Green and Jamie Erdahl. They will be at Wembley for this matchup between the Vikings and the Browns. Spread favors, of course, the Minnesota Vikings. They're 9.5 to 10.5 point favorites. Series history, the Vikings lead the all-time series 10-4. Their last meeting was in 2013 in Minnesota. And believe it or not, the Browns actually won that game 31-27 and snapped a 4-game losing streak to the Minnesota Vikings. And the whole 9 yards. And Vikings last beat the Browns in 2009. That was a 34-20 win in Cleveland. So those are all the schematics here. Obviously, this game is not in our top 5 games of the week. MF will be hearing that for the first time. I have yet to share that with him because, we've been very busy. But nonetheless, there's no way the Vikings lose this game, right? Minnesota traveled to London, riding a 3-game winning streak after its defense held the Ravens to 208 yards on 64 plays, the fewest yards allowed in Mike Zimmer's 4-year tenure. While the injury report was pretty full for the Vikings, including a chest injury that limited quarterback Case Keenum in practice, the Browns are far worse in that department. Spencer Drango is starting at left tackle in place of injured veteran Joe Thomas. His first assignment is to block Everson Griffin, who is looking for his 8th consecutive game with a sack. Despite some hiccups, Minnesota's offense has played well enough to stay in games and is in far better shape with its uncertain quarterback situation than Cleveland, which is going back to DeShone Kizer after he already was benched this season. If you believe in trap games, that's fine, but this is not one. Barring a monumental collapse, the Vikings will head into their bye week at 6-2. Myles Garrett is in concussion protocol. Joe Thomas is recovering from surgery. And DeShone Kizer is the team's best option at quarterback despite a league-high 6.0 interception rate. The biggest loss, Thomas, whose absence will be easily noticed against a nasty Mike Zimmer defense. Needless to say, this is one of my locks of the week, if not the lock of the week. Minnesota Vikings, they will roll, and they will roll rather easily. 30-14, Minnesota over Cleveland. There's nothing more to say. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher, come on in. Minnesota and Cleveland, the Cathedral of Soccer, Wembley Stadium, the legendary Greg Gumbel on the call.
Yep.
Yeah, so Minnesota, no way they lose this, right?
I mean, they could lose it if they take the Browns lightly. And, Cleveland's had their moments where they really played really tough in certain games, only to lose at the end. They had that rough game. I think it was last week. They had a 12-9 game where they went into overtime or something like that, and they only lost by 3. So, I mean, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this could be an interesting game. But like you said, no Joe Thomas. Myles Garrett on concussion protocol, most likely not going to play. You got DeShone Kizer as your quarterback. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. You really kind of put yourself in a bad situation, and it just makes matters worse. So, no, for me, I'm with you, Anthony. I think Minnesota should win this, and I'll even go one further. If you don't got Minnesota as your eliminator pick, put them as your pick this week, because this is the Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week. Guaranteed. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Couldn't agree with you more, MF. And now we move on to and let me tell you something here. The CBS side of the docket is loaded with very exciting matchups. MF, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a word of warning right now. After we're done here behind the scenes, we'll set up our, how we would run it, with our announcer crews and whatnot. We're gonna have a rough time with this because there are so many great matchups. We don't know where they're gonna go, but I do know this. This is one of those very exciting matchups, and we're gonna have a lot of fun covering this one. It's gonna be the Oakland Raiders squaring off against the Buffalo Bills at New Era Field in Buffalo. This game will be on CBS, and on the call for CBS, it will be Andrew Catalon and James Lofton, former Buffalo Bill receiver in his own right. Spread favors the Buffalo Bills. 2.5 to 3 points is the spread in favor of Buffalo. You can make an argument that this game is one of the FPI games of the week. It actually just missed out. And believe it or not, last night's game between the Dolphins and the Ravens actually was the high leverage game of the week. And, well, it certainly didn't seem like it after what happened last night. But nonetheless, Oakland and Buffalo is next up here. And Oakland, the Raiders lead the all-time series 21-17. And they last met last year. They met in Oakland, and the Raiders won that game by a score of 38-24. They've won the last 2 meetings with Buffalo. 2014, they won 26-24, also in Oakland. They last met in Buffalo back in 2011. I'll never forget it. It was a very exciting game. I believe it was week 2 that year, and the Buffalo Bills won that game 38-35. And the Raiders last won in Buffalo back in 2002. Their last Super Bowl year, 49-31. Wild shootout there. So, MF, I mean, this one of the many great matchups we have on our side of the ledger. We're loaded, man, and this is one of many, many, many exciting matchups on our end. Can't wait.
Well, Buffalo is coming off a very interesting situation. I think Buffalo was on the bye last week, but the Raiders, holy cow. Okay, you go against Kansas City in Oakland, and you my friends, had yourself a wow. You had us talking about that game on Thursday night during our college football Thursday last week. We had to stop the show to talk about your game. That's how good this game was. We were talking, it was high drama in Oakland, and it couldn't have gotten any better. I mean, probably the best Thursday night game of the entire series up to this point. Yes, congratulations, Raiders, for a great win, but now you're going up against Buffalo. Really good defense from west to east. That's a tough haul. But if the Raiders wins that game, if the Raiders win, you're gonna stay in pace with you're gonna stay on pace with Kansas City, because now it looks like Kansas City is starting to fall a little bit. They're starting to come back to the pack. If that's the case, look out. We might have an interesting dilemma on our hands. We'll wait and see what happens, but coming from west to east, that's a tough game. When you're playing a 1 o'clock game, it's like 10 a.m. in Oakland. Are they really going to be ready for a matchup like this? And it's against a really good defense. LaShawn McCoy, and them boys, and the whole 9 yards. I'm going to stun a few people in here. I'm going with Buffalo to win. I think Buffalo's going to steal it. My final score is 21-17, but I think Buffalo is going to end up circling the wagons on the Oakland Raiders and sending them back to Oakland with a very hard, devastating loss on their resume. Anthony Floyo, it is all yours.
Wow. Nice to hear. I like what I hear. Anyways, that giant exhale you heard coming from Oakland last week was a sigh of relief from the Raiders offense to the tune of 417 yards passing and 3 touchdowns from Derek Carr, plus 11 catches on 19 targets for 210 yards from Amari Cooper against the Chiefs. Sure, the sideshow that would be Marshawn Lynch returning to face the franchise that drafted him in 2007 will be missed as he serves his 1-game suspension for making contact with an official. But the Raiders need to take advantage of a beat-up Bills secondary that has surrendered an NFL-high 350 yards passing a game since Week 5. And unless weather totally grounds Carr and company, the good times could continue for the Raiders, who also enjoyed a lengthy mini-bye after having played on Thursday night. Or as new middle linebacker Navarro Bowman told Carr before beating Kansas City, "You handle that O, and I'm going to get this defense right." The Raiders' passing offense, which gained 417 yards last week against the Chiefs, might have awakened at the right time. Since Week 5, the Bills' defense ranks 30th in opposing total QBR, 73.5. Last in passing yards a game, 350.5. 31st in net yards per pass attempt, 8.76. 26th in third down conversions, 46.2%. And 21st in points allowed a game, 23.5. With safety Jordan Poyer with a knee and cornerback EJ Gaines hamstring Monday, the Bills will have their work cut out for them against Derek Carr and his receivers. But with the game being in Buffalo, I agree with you, MF. I like the Buffalo Bills in this one. I like my team in this one. I'll admit it. I'm worried about this game. I mean, to be honest, my gut is telling me to go against my team and go with the Raiders. But with this game being in Buffalo, and with the Bills, playing better than expected, I'm going to go with my team to win, and I think they can do it. My final score, I'm going to say 27-23 in favor of Buffalo. So that's all I can say there. Next game up, we have the Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. This game will be broadcast on CBS as well. We've got Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta on the call. Another big spread here. MF, you may talk about Minnesota as an eliminator pick. You may want to make an argument for Cincinnati as an eliminator pick as well, as they are a 10.5 to 12-point favorite against Indianapolis. Series history favors the Colts. Yeah, Colts lead the all-time series 17-10. They last met in 2014. Colts won 27-0 in Indianapolis, and then they won again in Indianapolis in a wild card game. Indianapolis won 26-10. Their last meeting in Cincinnati was 2013. Bengals won 42-28. And the Indianapolis Colts have not won in Cincinnati since back in 2005 when they won a wild 45-37 shootout in at Paul Brown Stadium. So this game not in the top 5, of course, and up to face a Cincinnati defense that's not as good as Jacksonville's. Bengals to put plenty of pressure on quarterback Jacoby Brissett after he was sacked 10 times against the Jaguars last week. Cincinnati has the number 5 ranked defense in the NFL, and the unit already has 18 sacks. Sunday will be a perfect opportunity for the Bengals to improve their 29th ranked offense. That's because the Colts have gotten worse and worse each week on defense. They're 31st in the league in yards allowed, 31st against the pass, and last in points allowed at 31.7 a game. The downward spiral to the season continues for the Colts. ESPN's Football Power Index gives the Bengals an 85.4% chance to win, their highest percentage since the 2009 season. They'll get pressured defensively against a team that gave up 10 sacks last week, and their days of struggling to run the ball likely will end against the Colts' 26th ranked run defense. The Colts' 31st ranked pass defense probably won't do much better containing A.J. Green either. Another one of my locks of the week, Cincinnati wins 38-14. Nothing left to say. MF, you can make an argument that this is our default Zonk game of the week if you really think about it.
It is probably the default Zonk game of the week, no doubt about it. But, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to deal with what you got to deal with. And, you know, Cincinnati is looking really good now. It looks like they've hit their stride a little bit. You know, we'll see what happens. I think they'll win this week, no doubt about that. And we'll just move on. So, yeah. Anthony, it's all yours.
Keep your mic on, MF, because you'll be leading off this next one. And, oh, boy, are we going to have some fun with this one. I can honestly say, looking at our docket, sure, the FPI may have it different, but in my opinion, you could really make an argument that you can make this our de facto game of the week, if you really think about it. It's number 4 on the FPI overall, but in my opinion, you can make an argument that this is the game of the week for us. How about this matchup? The Los Angeles Chargers, the resurgent Los Angeles Chargers, squaring off against the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. CBS has it. Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn will be there. And the spread favors the New England Patriots. They are 7 to 8.5 point favorites against the Chargers. The series history favors the New England Patriots 21-14 with 2 ties. Those 2 ties, of course, came back in 1965, a 10-all tie in Boston, and in 1967, a 31-all tie in San Diego. Their last meeting was in 2014 on a Sunday night in San Diego. Patriots won 23-14. Their last meeting in Foxborough was 2011. New England won 35-21. And the last time the Chargers won in New England, you got to go back to 2005 when the Chargers put a 41-17 beat down on the Patriots. So it's the number 4 game according to the FPI. But MF, honestly, with the way the Chargers have bounced back from that 0-3 start to 500, and with New England coming around, I can honestly say, in my opinion, I don't know about you, but for me, I consider this our game of the week on our side.
You know what? This is going to be very interesting because now this is where everything could go one way or another. And what could be a big moment, a big breakout, heck yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be amazing. And this could end up being the best of the best. Who knows how this is going to say. The Patriots have played great. Defensively, they gotten better. A lot of people, I want to say it's definitely got a lot of great things going, but we'll wait and see what happens. As it relates to the Chargers, yes, they've gotten better. They are looking more better than ever. And, after their demolishment, and I mean the demolishment of the Denver Broncos a week ago, yes, ladies and gentlemen, they are back. They are stronger. They are more better. And this is where I got to say it. It's going to be, it's going to be one of those situations where how are they going to look? What's going to happen? How's that going to play out? I think the Patriots will win the game. No doubt about it. I think the Patriots will win. It's just, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be one of those that's going to be either better under the circumstances, or we'll wait and see what happens. So I'm going to say it. I believe the Patriots are going to win it. Anthony, I'll give it to you.
All right. And just like that, the Patriots are once again FPI's top-rated team. It still has some legitimate concerns about the Patriots' defense, fourth least efficient defense this season, but the Patriots' offense is second to none. They have posted an offensive efficiency better than 50, league average, in each of their 7 games this season, the only team to do so. They're still trying to rebound from an 0-4 start. They have from an 0-3, 0-4 start. They have reeled off 3 consecutive wins and have crawled to the verge of the playoff picture with a 17% chance to make the playoffs after week 7. An unexpected win would be a boon to their playoff probability, upping them to 33%. Okay. The Chargers will be competitive in this one because of the defense's ability to create pressure up front. The Chargers will use a ball control offense and try to play keep away from Tom Brady. But the Patriots will exploit the Chargers' weakness on defense, stopping the run. The Chargers allow 141 rushing yards a game, the second worst in the NFL. The Chargers' pass rush, led by Melvin Ingram, 8.5 sacks, and Joey Bosa, 7.5 sacks, is a concern, and Tom Brady has stressed the importance of getting the ball out quickly. Brady already has been sacked this season, and not all of those were solely the result of protection. There were times he could have got rid of the ball quicker. That's the storyline of the week, and why this game could be closer than some anticipate. And I think it will definitely be an exciting game. But I do, however, have the New England Patriots putting an end to the Chargers' 3-game winning streak. They started 0-4, but they've won 3 in a row. But I think that ends here. I got the Patriots in this one. My final score, 27-23, New England over Los Angeles, and what I think will be one of our top games of the week. No doubt about it. Well, in my opinion, it's our game of the week based on the body of work, but we'll see how MF and I feel about that when we talk about it behind the scenes after the show, because we haven't had a chance to do it because we've been so busy this week. But on to our next game. Hey, we actually have a Fox game on the docket, believe it or not. Like I said, CBS is loaded this week. But on the Fox side, we got the Chicago Bears squaring off against the New Orleans Saints at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. This game will be broadcast on Fox, and it's going to be Justin Kutcher stepping in for Tom Brenneman. He'll be working with Chris Spielman and Jennifer Hale. Jennifer Hale will be on the sidelines for Peter Schrager, because normally he works with them. But Hale on the call for Bears and Saints in the Dome. And New Orleans, a 9 to 10.5 point favorite against the Bears. Series history favors the New Orleans Saints 14-13, very close. And the Saints have won and the Saints are on a 3-game winning streak against the Bears. Chicago, the Saints won 31-15. They also won in Chicago the year before, 2013. That was a 26-18 final. Their last meeting in New Orleans was 2011. Saints put a whooping on the Bears then, 30-13. Last time the Bears won at the Saints, Go back to 2005 when the Saints were playing at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, home of LSU, during the whole Katrina process, 20-17. But the last time the Bears won in the Superdome itself, you got to go all the way back to 1991, a 20-17 win. So it's been a long time coming. But the Bears last beat the Saints overall in 2008, a 27-24 overtime win in Chicago. So, okay. Magical 2-game winning streak ends in the Superdome for one reason: without defense and special teams. Chicago is ranked 26th in points per game with 17.4. NFL's fourth highest scoring offense, or highest scoring average rather, at 28.5. Has been great the past 2 weeks, 6 takeaways and 3 defensive touchdowns, but that will not last forever. Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky has thrown 48 passes in 3 career games, while Saints quarterback Drew Brees has thrown 48 passes in a single game 33 times in his career. The Bears defense has been playing great, but so has New Orleans defense. So if the Saints can avoid game-changing mistakes, they should be able to take advantage of the quarterback disparity at home. They also should be able to lean on their dynamic running back duo of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, 100 yards from scrimmage at Green Bay last week. All left for me to say on this, I got the New Orleans Saints winning this game 27-14. Give me New Orleans over Chicago in the Dome. Nothing more to say. MF. Bears have actually been playing well as of late, and I know Ward's excited, but I'm afraid it ends for them in the Dome on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Bears have looked really good lately, and they gotten better. But yeah, I just don't see them winning this game either. It's gonna. I'm gonna go with the same scoreline, 28-14, and there's really nothing more to say. So Anthony, it's yours.
And now we move on to yet another Fox game, but this is a sleeper matchup, if I'm going to be real honest with you. And this is an interesting matchup as well. It's going to be the Atlanta Falcons, your reigning and defending NFC champion Atlanta Falcons, playing the fourth and final team from the AFC East. They played the AFC East each of the last 3 weeks, and they've lost all 3 of them. Losing at home to Buffalo, losing at home to Miami, and then, of course, we don't know what happened against New England. Oh, my goodness, was that an abomination? But nonetheless, they will have one last chance to get in the win column against an AFC East opponent, and that will be the New York Jets. The Atlanta Falcons squaring off against the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, on Fox. Our friend from the New York Rangers, the legendary Sam Rosen, will be on the call with Rondé Barber and Christina Pink. And the spread favors the Atlanta Falcons by 6-7. Series history also favors Atlanta by a count of 6-5. Dome in Atlanta, and the Jets won the game 30-28. Their last meeting in New York was 2009, and the Falcons came away with a win. 10-7 was the final score then, back in 2009. Last time the Jets beat the Falcons at home, you got to go back to their division championship season of 1998, when they pounded the Falcons 28-3. And that 98 Jet team, of course, Bill Parcells coached it, and of course they went all the way to the AFC Championship game before losing to the Broncos. So don't remember that. So I believe I have all the schematics out of the way. So MF, Falcons 0-3 against our division. That shows that just goes to show we have the best division in football, the AFC East, hands down.
It's not only that you got the best division in football, but it's also a very tough division to play. At the end of the day, you also gotta. I was gonna say, look, you just gotta deal with what you got. You gotta play with what you have, and what makes you unique or what makes you the best is by playing the best teams out there. And yeah, for some odd reason, Atlanta just can't get off the schneid. All of a sudden, they're getting questioned about the play selection. Offensively, they're not playing good. They got exposed last week against against the Patriots. I mean, other than that. Other than that epic touchdown by Julio Jones, were absolutely tearing the ball away from Malcolm Butler, which had basically all the memes. Basically, poor Malcolm Butler went through the woodshed last week on that one. Even one of my favorite commentators, Cornelius Almas, basically did an epic one. But I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. But the Jets are looking a lot more better. Of course, with a decent running game, you don't really need much from the air, from running through the air. They just got to contain, and that's what you do. Contain Matt Ryan, contain Julio Jones, contain that two-man running team of Freeman and Coleman, and you could easily win this game. But unfortunately, I think Atlanta will finally get the schneid. I think they'll get their first win against the AFC East. I got Atlanta winning this one 24-21. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. But I'm very curious. I mean, you and Michael Bullock, you guys went to Buffalo Wild Wings and you saw the game, and
yeah,
I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, were you guys there when Julio Jones made that catch? And if so, I mean, what was that?
Yeah. Oh, we were there. We both were like, oh my God. We both were freaking out. Once I saw the replay of what he did, I was like, oh man. Yeah, we both were like, wow, about the touchdown. I think we were more freaked out about the way the touchdown went down. We were more freaking out about just the brute force and just the nastiness of what Julio Jones did to Malcolm Butler, man. I mean, I think the guy said it, man. He violated the eighth the Eighth Amendment in the United States Constitution. That was cruel and unusual punishment done when Julio Jones ripped the ball from Malcolm Butler, man. That was downright nasty what he did. Even every Patriot fan kind of was like, wow. That even though they had a great night, that ripping of the touchdown was even some of the Patriot fans was tipping the cap to Julio Jones, saying that was amazing what happened.
Yeah, I can only imagine how the atmosphere was. Yeah, I'm sure everybody was going, whoa, and that's like we would. So, all right. The Falcons are in the midst of a 3-game losing streak and have averaged just 13.6 points a game during this year. One would expect better from a team that averaged 33.8 points a game last season. But the transition from Kyle Shanahan to new offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian has not been seamless. That being said, the Falcons seem intent on fixing their mistakes against the Jets team that allows 23 points a game. We just have to make sure everybody communicates, said Julio Jones. If the Falcons stay committed to the running game, Coach Dan Quinn wants high 20s in rushing attempts. Fix their third down woes, score touchdowns in the red zone, and keep the Jets under 100 rushing yards. They should get back on a winning track. What happens when two teams that can't hold a lead face each other? It could get wild at MetLife Stadium. The Falcons are in a serious offensive funk, but they still have enough playmakers to win this game. The Jets struggle against elusive runners such as Devontae Freeman, and their corners will have trouble with Julio Jones. The Jets have allowed 583 passing yards and 6 touchdowns in the past 2 games. They blew 14-point leads in each game. Both losses, the ideal elixir for Matt Ryan and company. So I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as some experts think because of how the Falcons have been struggling on offense lately. But I think they'll do just enough to win here. So I'm going to go with Atlanta to win. My final score, 23-17, Atlanta over the Jets. Now we move on to what is truly the Zonk game of the week on either side. The San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field in and Let me see. Just want to see who's going to be on the call for this one. I believe it's going to be Kenny Albert sitting. Yeah, Kenny Albert, Charles Davis, Pam Oliver. Of course, Kenny Albert still sitting in for Kevin Burkhardt, while Kevin Burkhardt does the studio coverage for Fox's baseball playoff coverage. What's going on right now? And the Astros dominating right now. Unbelievable. And the spread for this one, you may want to consider Philadelphia as another eliminator pick, if not the eliminator pick. 12.5 to 13.5 point favorites against San Francisco. Series history favors the San Francisco 49ers 18-12 with one tie. The one tie was in 1956 in Philadelphia, 10-10. Their last meeting was 2014. 49ers actually won that game in San Francisco. As a matter of fact, they won the last two meetings. Niners won 26-21 in San Fran in 2014. And their last meeting in Philadelphia was won by the 49ers, 24-23 in 2011. Eagles last beat the 49ers at home in 2009. That was a 27-13 win. So there's all the schematics you need for that one. Games in the Eastern time zone and are coming off a 30-point loss, while Philadelphia is riding the wave of a 5-game winning streak. Beyond that, the Eagles have a dominant defensive front, 3.8 out, 18 sacks, matching up with a banged-up Niners offensive line that's trying to protect a rookie quarterback in C.J. Beathard, making his first road start in the NFL. Even history is against the Niners, who at 0-7 are trying to become just the second team in 16 tries to beat a team that's 6-1 or better in the Super Bowl era. The forecast in Philly calls for heavy rain Sunday with 1 to 2 inches expected. Depending on the accuracy and timing of the predicted weather, it could make for a sloppy game. Perhaps that would benefit the 49ers, who enter as heavy underdogs and can use the help of outside elements to topple the 6-1 Eagles. Otherwise, it could be a long day at the office for a winless team that will be facing MVP candidate Carson Wentz and the third-ranked offense in football. There's really nothing left for me to say on this except fly, Eagles, fly. I'm going to go 34-13, Philadelphia over San Francisco. Nothing left to say except MF, fly, Eagles, fly, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Fly, Eagles, fly. They're definitely looking like the best team in the NFC right now, man. I don't think a lot of people would have thought about that or originally would feel that way, but the way they've been playing, man, absolutely. They got some big wins so far up to this point, and they've been dominating, man. They've been playing really good football right now. The 49ers, man, they're just one of the tragedies right now. You could think that with the pedigree, the lineage that they've had, that they wouldn't have a down year, but they've been having a horrible season. Not even won a game yet. Them and Cleveland are the only winless teams in the NFL. And I hate to say this, but there's a couple of people right now that are kind of thinking that, including myself, is it possible that they could go 0-16 for the season? Yikes. But, yeah, so nothing more to say. Give me Philly to win. On to the next game.
Okay. I believe we are now heading into the 4 o'clock matchups on our end. Unless this next one is our final 1 o'clock game. It's going to be the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. And Tampa Bay, a 1 to 1.5 point favorite at home. Another spread has this as a pick'em game. You can definitely make an argument for that. Just give me a moment here. Got some information I'm trying to load here. Very slow on my end, we're used to this. Carolina leads the all-time series 20-13. Tampa Bay actually won both meetings last year, including in Tampa Bay, 27-16. Carolina last won in Tampa the year before, 2015. You know, their Super Bowl year, 37-23 was the final there. And I do know this game will be on Fox, and trying to get the announcer crew. But this is a big game in the NFC South. Of course, the South's actually looking wide open, of course, with the Falcons suddenly with their struggles. I mean, New Orleans playing well, Carolina coming back to life, but Tampa. This is a 1 o'clock game. Okay, this is our final 1 o'clock game. Okay. Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, Laura Oakman. Of course, Chris Myers is sitting in for Kenny Albert. That's Kenny Albert's crew that he's working with. So I believe we have all the schematics out of the way. So MF, we started off with you. Carolina, Tampa Bay. Major implications in the NFC South. I mean, this division just got interesting.
Yes, it has. And, with Tampa, they've been looking, they've been good, bad, but Carolina, man, I mean, I don't know what's been going on with them. They've really looked pretty bad lately. And now the game's in Tampa. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win. I'm going to go with them to steal it. So I think it's going to be like a 2017 type affair, but I'm going to say it. Give me Tampa to win. So, Anthony, I'll give it to you.
Believing in Bucky, huh? You think it's gonna be a good day for Bucky firing those cannons there? So, for the first time tonight, I'm sorry, I disagree. I got Carolina winning this one. It's not that the Panthers have been stagnant offensively the past 2 weeks. There's a negative yardage on key situations to stop long drives. The Bucs, meanwhile, aren't stopping anybody, allowing 408.5 yards a game and ranking last in the NFL with 7 sacks. The lack of pressure on quarterback Cam Newton should allow him to get back on track. The Bucs are 6-1 at home since week 10 of last season, tied with the Packers for the best home winning percentage during that span. Defense right now. They can't get off the field on third down. They can't pressure the quarterback. And they surrendered 144 rushing yards to LaShawn McCoy and Tyrod Taylor last week, and 134 yards to Adrian Peterson the week before. That doesn't evoke much confidence with Cam Newton coming to town. So I'm sorry, MF, we have our first disagreement of the night. I got Carolina winning this game. My final score for Carolina steals one at Raymond James Stadium. Sorry, Bucky. There won't be much cannon celebrating, I'm afraid. So now we move on to our 4 o'clock matchups, and now this is where our side of the ledger picks up again, because like I said, we've got some very intriguing matchups. We're loaded on our side. And here's another interesting, intriguing matchup here. So intriguing that it is actually the number 2 game on the FPI game. And it's actually the number 1 game according to FPI on our side. In my opinion, I don't think so. But it is what it is. The Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks squaring off at CenturyLink Field in Seattle. 4:05 kickoff. This will be on CBS. It'll be Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon on the call. And Seattle, a 6.5 to 7.5 point favorite. Seattle leads the all-time series. It's only 2-1. Their last meeting was 2013 in Houston, and Seattle won that game 23-20 in overtime. They only met in Seattle once, and that was their very first meeting back in 2005. And Seattle absolutely pounded Houston 42-10. Of course, Seattle went to the Super Bowl that year, Super Bowl 40. So Deshaun Watson has been incredible this season and deserves the heaps of praise he has received. But if there is one reason to be skeptical of the Texans quarterback, it's this. 24.7% of his passes have been off target. The only other qualified quarterback with a higher percentage of his passes off target is Cleveland's DeShone Kizer. And he is not exactly someone any quarterback wants to keep company with right now. Granted, there are other quarterbacks who have been successful lately with relatively high off-target rates. The Rams' Jared Goff and the Bills' Tyrod Taylor have the 3rd and 5th highest rates respectively. But it is at least a little bit off of a red flag. The good news for Houston is that Watson provides value with his legs, which could help mitigate his accuracy issues. This will be a particularly difficult matchup as the Seahawks have the 4th lowest opponent total QBR this season. With Deshaun Watson under center, with Deshaun Watson under center, the Texans feel they have a chance in any game. But the Seahawks defense could slow them down on Sunday. In 3 games, but faces the number 1 defense in points allowed in the game. It will be a close one, and Watson will keep the Texans in the game. But Houston will lose its 5th consecutive game to an NFC West opponent. Watson has looked like the real deal, but he faces a tough challenge on the road against the Seahawks defense, playing as well as it has in recent memory. The Seahawks have allowed only 33 points during their 3-game winning streak, elevating them back into their familiar place as the NFL's top scoring defense. And this game is at CenturyLink Field, where the Seahawks are 4-0 against rookie quarterbacks since 2011, while allowing only 179 passing yards a game, according to ESPN stats and information. Seattle Seahawks win this game. My final score, 20-14, Seattle over Houston. MF, another big game on our end.
Another big game indeed. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. You want to talk about high drama and high action, high octane. This is going to be very interesting. But I'm going to go with your score line. 20-14 is my final score. This is going to be a great game, no doubt about it. Definitely one of the more intriguing matchups we're going to have this week. So, Anthony, let's just move on to the next game.
And it is America's Game of the Week on Fox. 4:25 kickoff. How about this? The Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. America's Game of the Week. Tom Brenneman, one more time, will be sitting in for Joe Buck. He'll be working with his crew of Troy Aikman and Aaron Andrews. They will be at FedEx Field for this one. And oh, by the way, it's the game of the week according to the FBI. This game came in at number 1 on that end. Dallas is the favorite, but only by 1 to 2 points. That's it. A 1 to 2 point spread for Dallas. Series history favors the Dallas Cowboys 68-42 with 2 ties. Last year, Dallas won both meetings. Dallas won in Washington 27-23 and also won in Dallas 31-26. Matter of fact, the Cowboys have won each of the last 4 years in Washington. The Redskins have not beaten the Cowboys at home since 2012. That was a 28-18 win. But since then, it's been all Dallas in Washington. So, and of course, like I said, this game came in as the FPI's number 1 game of the week. So, I believe we have all the schematics out of the way. We start off this game of the week with you here. One of the greatest rivalries of all time. A great NFC East Division rivalry. Perfect game for the A team of Fox, even though it's Tom Brenneman sitting in for Joe Buck. But nonetheless, Cowboys or Redskins. The big question is it going to be like our favorite commercial back in the day? Is it going to be Cowboys, or all hail the Redskins?
Well, I don't know. This is going to be very interesting. A great game, to say the very least. Cowboys and Redskins, there's really nothing more to say. It's going to be unbelievable. What a matchup we got. I'm going to say this is going to be a tough game to call, but I'm going to go with the Washington Redskins. I don't know why. I kind of got a feeling like they've turned the corner now. I think it's going to be a really good matchup, to say the very least. So for me, I'm going to go with Washington to stun Dallas. 21-17, my final score. Maybe a disagreement here. If it is, then so be it. Anthony, it's yours.
Oh, yeah, there's a disagreement, no doubt about it, but I'll get to that in a minute. Though breakout campaigns from Philadelphia's Carson Wentz and Houston's Deshaun Watson are stealing the show, an interesting but equally important quarterback story is emerging in Dallas. Dak Prescott has been just as good as he was last year. At the moment, Prescott has a 78.1 total QBR, exactly the same number he had through 6 games last season. The only difference? There has been a 30-play increase in the number of action plays for the Cowboys quarterback. Currently, Prescott trails only Watson in total QBR. Despite being 3-3, the Cowboys ought to reach the postseason if Prescott can keep up this level of play. Okay. All right. Since losing the de facto NFC East Championship game in Week 17 in 2012 at FedEx Field, the Cowboys have won 4 consecutive games at Washington. 3 of the 4 games have been decided by 8 total points. Over the past 4 seasons, the Cowboys are 19-8 away from home, including 2-1 this season. Why? Their offense has traveled well. In their 8 road wins over the past 2 seasons, the Cowboys have scored touchdowns on 21 of 27 red zone possessions. This season, Washington has allowed touchdowns on 11 of 17 red zone possessions. Only 3 teams are worse. The Redskins are banged up along the offensive line with 4 of the 5 starters dealing with injuries, and there's a chance at least 2 will sit out Sunday. That's problematic, facing a team that records a stack on 9.5% of dropbacks, 7th best in the NFL. The Redskins will have to use a lot of bootlegs and rollouts to compensate or stay in manageable third downs against a defense that ranks 26th in this area. Quarterback Dak Prescott can burn them with his poise and off-schedule plays. The Redskins have been hurt by mobile quarterbacks Alex Smith and Carson Wentz this season. In the second meeting versus Washington last season, Prescott averaged 3.05 seconds before each throw, his 3rd highest of the year. That resulted in key third down conversions and big plays downfield. Indeed, in 3 combined games versus Wentz and Smith, the Redskins allowed 22 of 38 third downs to be converted, compared with 11 of 40 versus other teams. It's not a coincidence. Third down defense and injuries are too much this week. So I'm sorry, Michael Fletcher, I got to disagree with you one more time. I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this game. My final score, 27-23, Dallas over Washington. Now we move on to Sunday Night Football and another intriguing matchup on our side of the ledger. How about this matchup? This is a great matchup here. I like this matchup. Squaring off against the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in Detroit. Sunday Night Football on NBC. Of course, you know who's working that. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. They will be there. And series history favors the Pittsburgh Steelers. 16-14 with 1 tie. That 1 tie came back in 1959 in Pittsburgh. Steelers have won each of the last 4 meetings against the Lions. 2013, they last met. They met in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers won 37-27. Last meeting in Detroit was 2009. Steelers also won that one 28-20. The last time the Detroit Lions beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, not just at home, but overall, you got to go all the way back to that infamous Thanksgiving controversial coin toss game back in 1998 at the old Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Lions won that one 19-16 in overtime. One of the most controversial moments in NFL history. Jerome Bettis, the whole coin toss fiasco. That's the last time the Lions beat the Steelers overall and at home. So nearly 2 decades since they've beaten the Steelers. Pittsburgh, a 2.5 to 3 point favorite, I forgot to mention. So, and of course, this game ranked at number 3 on the FPI top 5 list. The Steelers defense is absolutely legit, earning a unit efficiency rating of 77.1. To put that into context, only 3 teams since 2006 have bested that rate. A key part of that defense is disruption of the passing attack. The Steelers are pressuring opposing quarterbacks on 30.2% of dropbacks, the 7th highest rate in the league, despite blitzing just 20.6% of the time, the 5th lowest rate in the league. Well, they might bring the heat against Matthew Stafford more often in this one because the Lions quarterback has the worst raw QBR in the league against the blitz. On the other side of the ball, Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell might not have his best game in this one, as the Lions' run defense has produced the 4th most expected points per game this season. The Steelers' defense is hitting its stride, allowing 49.5 rushing yards per game over the past 2 weeks, while holding all receivers to 61 yards or less since week 1. Pittsburgh has won each of its past 6 Sunday night games with a 20.3-point average margin of victory. Ben Roethlisberger loves playing in domes, completing 72.8% of his passes for 1,517 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 4 wins in his past 5 starts indoors. The Lions receivers are beat up. The Steelers should enter the bye 6-2. Detroit may have used this bye to get healthier, but the Lions still are hurting at left tackle, where Brian Mahalik or Bryce Harris could get the start. If you're wondering who those players are, you're not alone. Considering Pittsburgh's pressure-packed pass rush that is sacking quarterbacks on 11.1% of pass attempts, that does not bode well for Matthew Stafford. If the offense is disrupted, that'll give more chances for the Steelers' balanced offense to wear down Detroit. The Lions stay in it, but Pittsburgh is the better team. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. My final score, 28-24. Another more to say on this. MF, another potential game of the week candidate on our end.
Pittsburgh and Detroit is going to be unbelievable. There's really nothing more to say it. But, there's been some moments where Pittsburgh's looked really good. There's been moments where Pittsburgh's looked really bad. What type of Steeler team are we going to get? And even on the other end, what type of team are we going to see as it relates to Detroit? Because they kind of have a little bit of that, where they've looked good in one way, not so great in another. So I don't know. This is going to be a great matchup. This is going to be an interesting battle. But at the end, I'm with you, Anthony. I got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like what I see. I think they're a better team, and I'm going to go with them to win the game. So there's really nothing more, at least on this end. So I guess we're on to the Monday Night Football game then.
Indeed we are. And another potential game of the week candidate on our end. I told you we're loaded. The Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Sean McDonough, John Gruden, Lisa Salters on the call for that one for ESPN. Monday Night Football. Kansas City, a 7 to 7.5 point favorite. Kansas City leads the all-time series 59-54. And Kansas City has actually won the last 3 meetings against Denver, including a sweep last year. Kansas City blew out Denver 33-10 on Christmas night last year, as you remember. Denver last won in Kansas City the year before, 31-24, on a wild Thursday night game, week 2 of that season. I'll never forget it. MF and I, we had a lot of fun with that, especially that scoop and score that Denver had to win the game, which was unreal. But I do believe I have all the schematics out of the way here. This game came in at number 5 overall on the FBI list. So, MF, the theme of the week, like I've been saying all show long, another game of the week candidate, Denver and KC. My goodness.
Yeah. What there, and what's the drama going to be like? How exciting is this level out and the whole 9 yards of Kansas City's been struggling. They've hit the wall, and all of a sudden now they got to go up against the Denver Bronco team that really could. If they win this game, if they beat Kansas City, look out. The AFC West is going to get tight. And that means, what do you do at that point? But here's the problem. You're in Kansas City, the loudest stadium in North America, other than, and I know, Seattle, the 12th man, and CenturyLink Field's probably saying, Michael Fletcher, you don't know what I'm talking about because, you know how loud we can get. Yes, I get it. But according to the Guinness Book of World Records, Kansas City's the loudest stadium in all of the world. So, sorry guys, they got you on that one. They broke literally the record for the loudest crowd at a major sporting event ever. So, sorry guys, but Kansas City beat you. Now, unless you guys attempt to break the record again and try to cause a mini earthquake, then yeah, all right, good luck. But I think Kansas City will get the job done. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. But Alex Smith, Hill, all of a sudden, I mean, even that vaunted offense looks a little human now, but they had their moments, man. They could definitely hang. I mean, one incomplete pass, and we be talking about them being 6-1 going into this game instead of 5-2. So Kansas City should win this one. Anthony, I give it to you.
The Chiefs can't lose 3 in a row, can they? FBI doesn't think so, giving the Chiefs a 77% chance to win. But that also means a 23% chance to lose, or roughly 1-4. The Chiefs' defense has been its Achilles heel for most of the season and has given up a league worst minus 32 expected points added. That's bad. Over the past 2 weeks, by far the worst in the league. San Francisco and Indianapolis are both at minus 25. Kansas City will face a similarly struggling unit in the Broncos offense, which has accrued minus 31 expected points added as a unit over its past 2 games. On the other side of the ball, we should get a classic strength versus strength matchup between the Broncos defense, 4th most efficient defense, and the Chiefs offense, 2nd most efficient offense. The Broncos have had more than a few clunkers in their visits to Arrowhead Stadium, and last year's 33-10 blowout loss on Christmas night is certainly on the list. They've lost 3 of their past 4 games, have an offense that has put together just 3 touchdown drives in those 4 games, and are coming off their first shutout loss in a quarter of a century. Quarterback Trevor Siemian and all involved in the team's offense have to be better, have to finish drives, and even when things aren't working, the group simply has to play mistake-free, or this year's visit will look a lot like last year's disaster. The Chiefs are the one team that seems to know how to score consistently against the Broncos. They have 29, 30, and 33 points in their past 3 games against the Broncos. And as a result, their 3-game winning streak in this series is their longest since 2000. Big plays often have decided recent games between the teams. The Chiefs have 3 offensive touchdowns of 70 yards or longer in the past 3 games against Denver, and a 4th on a kickoff return. The Chiefs, who have 6 touchdowns this season of at least 60 yards, could easily add to that total. I still think it's going to be a close game, but nonetheless, I've got Kansas City winning. My final score, 27-23, Kansas City over Denver. Michael Bullock has just joined us, so we got to play catch up with you, Bullock. You got in just in time. So we got to run down the entire docket for you because we just wrapped up Monday.
Yeah, it was a long evening for me.
Yeah, I know, and I'm sure it was a very worthwhile one because you had a very special event you attended tonight. So, all right, let's run down the docket for you. First game, Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns at Wembley Stadium in London.
Oh, easy. That's I got the Minnesota Vikings winning this one, and it's not even going to be close.
Oakland Raiders against the Buffalo Bills.
Now that's a tough one for me to say because, I mean, Oakland coming off that emotional win over the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo. I mean, they continue to impress me. Of course, Marshawn Lynch has been suspended for the game. I mean, how ironic he's been suspended for the game and he would have gone up against his former team. So it's tough. But I'm actually going to go with the Oakland Raiders here. I think they're going to feed off the emotion of that victory over Kansas City, but I think it's going to be a close one. I think Buffalo will be in it till the very end, but I just think Oakland is going to feed off the emotion of that win over Kansas City. So Oakland, I'm going to say it's going to be by a field goal.
All right. Indianapolis Colts and the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, I got the Cincinnati Bengals winning this one.
Okay. Well, I know you're gonna have the most vested interest in this one. The Los Angeles Chargers against your Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Bullock.
Yeah, I got the New England Patriots winning this one. I mean, the Chargers have been playing better as of late. I mean, winning 3 in a row, but I just think going into Foxborough is going to be tough for them against this Patriots team. I mean, the defense has definitely been getting better, but of course, we all know the big story. Dante Hightower done for the season, torn pectoral muscle. So, as the old saying goes, I mean, as it's been going on here in New England, it's next man up. So I'm sure somebody will step up. Maybe David Harris could take more of a role. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think New England will win and will go 6-2 heading into their bye week,
which is next week. Yes. Chicago Bears and New Orleans Saints.
All easy. The New Orleans Saints going to win this one. I mean, that offense for Chicago hasn't been good as of late. I mean, only one offensive touchdown this season. Unreal. So New Orleans all the way. So moving on.
The Atlanta Falcons against the New York Jets.
Oh, I got the Atlanta Falcons winning this one. I mean, I think they're going to bounce back, and yeah, I just don't see how the Jets can pull this one out. So, but then again, we thought the Bills couldn't pull it out against the Falcons, and look what happened there.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Dolphins too.
Yeah, that too.
San Francisco 49ers against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, Philadelphia Eagles all the way.
And the final 1 o'clock game, Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's a tough one, but I got to go with the Carolina Panthers in this one. I mean, I just really haven't been impressed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as of late, so Carolina all the way.
Tampa Bay took away a big lead in Buffalo last week. Let's remember that as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And out of the late games, well, there's only 2 late games. 4:05 game. Seahawks, intriguing matchup.
Oh, what was the game?
Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, I got the Seattle Seahawks winning this one. I mean, Houston's a mess right now, especially with the story that just came out today. I mean, I'm not really going to get into that. I'm sure you guys pretty much know about it by now. So, yeah, I got the Seahawks winning this one.
And America's Game of the Week on Fox, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I got the Dallas Cowboys winning this one. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So I think it's Sunday Night Football next.
Yes, it is. Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions.
Boy, that's going to be a tough one. This should be a really good game here, but I like what I've seen lately from Pittsburgh. So I got Pittsburgh winning, and it's going to be a close one.
And then finally, Monday Night Football, the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs.
It should be a good one, but in the end, because Kansas City's at home, I've got the Kansas City Chiefs winning this one. I think they're going to bounce back. I mean, they're too good right now. I mean, I just can't see them losing 3 in a row. I mean, would I be especially after Denver got shut out last week? But would I be surprised if Denver goes into Kansas City and win it? No, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, I got Kansas City winning, and before we get to the power rankings, I just want to give a little bit of an update. We're in the top of the 8th inning in Game 3 of the World Series. Houston Astros leading the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-3. They got 1 out, and Justin Turner is at the plate, so things could get interesting as the game progresses. So I'll keep everyone updated. Hopefully, I'll have a final before we go off the air.
Well, considering that we got the power rankings next, may not happen, but you never know. It could. We'll see. Before we do get to the power rankings, I forgot to mention last week, the Detroit Lions and Houston Texans were the bye teams last week. This week, the Arizona Cardinals, the Green Bay Packers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Los Angeles Rams, the New York Giants, and the Tennessee Titans will be on bye for this week. So that is that. And now we are going to move on to our NFL power rankings. And And if it's okay, I'd like to have you start off. I'm not quite ready yet. I know Bullock's not ready, especially after he just came in from his big night in Bristol tonight. So that being said, if you can get us up and running with the rankings, we'll go from there.
All right, so now this is going to be a little tricky because of the fact that, for one, I guess we can kind of try to say here, because now I got to kind of really look at, body of work, domination, the whole 9 yards. Plus, there's also that theory about, the overall records. The records, they got to be over 500. And so this does not make it any easier, because one team I was going to put was the Raiders, but the problem is they have a below 500 record, so I can't do that going in. So my number 10, and this is actually just going to be for 1 week only because they're definitely out next week, the Miami Dolphins. They beat the New York Jets 31-28 in a very good game. Miami had to come back literally from 14 down, scored 17 points unanswered in the fourth quarter. That was after Jay Cutler got hurt. Matt Moore came in, threw an interception in his first drive, but turned it around, got 2 big touchdowns, and then the defense slammed the door on the Jets to win the game. So my number 10 is the Miami Dolphins. Clearly, they're going to be out next week. They're not going to be in the power rankings next week, but at least for this week, you deserve to be in. So number 10, Miami Dolphins. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
All right. I do agree with Michael Fletcher. My number 10 is the Miami Dolphins, but yeah, like you said, come next week, they will definitely be out of it after they got shellacked on Thursday Night Football. 40-0. I mean, that was just, that was. Let's just say that was monkey butt ugly. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Flory, what's yours?
Yeah, it's the Dolphins. I thought we're going to bump them down. I mean, I had them at number 4 last week. I think it was mainly because of the bye week or something like that. Well, actually, it wasn't a bye week because they were playing well, but they barely got by the Jets, and then they're definitely going to be out of that. But they had won 3 in a row, and beating Tennessee at home, stealing one in Atlanta. But then you struggle to beat the Jets. You had to get catch up pretty much, and they lost Jay Cutler. But Matt Moore filled in admirably. Couple TD passes. They got sacked a combined 3 times. They threw 2 picks. The Dolphin defense had 3 sacks and an interception. Josh McCown. Ajayi, he's been struggling lately. Not looking like the Ajayi from last year, where he was just the toast of the league. Jarvis Landry and Kenny Stills receiving touchdowns. They both play very well. Landry over 90 yards, Stills over 80 yards, and Cameron Wake 2.5 sacks in that win over the Jets, and Dominic Suh had a half a sack as well. And Bobby McCain had an interception, returned it for 6 yards, and yeah, so Dolphins definitely down to number 10 in the rankings this time around. The upper echelon, I'll be real honest, the upper echelon is definitely a hell of a lot easier. I'll tell you that right now, especially my top 2, my number 1 and 2. Number 1 and 2, hands down. I could say my top 4 or 5 rather are 1 through 6 are actually very easy, but 7 through 10, this will be a chore. I will admit. So let me see. Compared to my rankings of a week ago, My dud teams of the week. First dud, the Carolina Panthers. They were a dud. Let me see. And I believe my number 9. I think I'll keep them at number 9 because their body of work has been just too impressive to ignore. Kansas City Chiefs. I had them at 9 last week. I'm going to keep them there this week. They only lost by 1 in quite possibly the greatest Thursday night football game of all time. A 5-star classic against the Oakland Raiders. Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. And we follow that up with quite possibly maybe the worst Thursday night game of all time. The Dolphins and the Ravens. Oh my goodness, was that thing, like it said, monkey butt, bowling shoe ugly in that one. Alex Smith played well, 342 yards, 3 TD passes. Only sacked once. Chiefs defense did nothing to Derek Carr. No sacks, no INTs whatsoever. Kareem Hunt had another vintage game, over 100 all-purpose yards, 117. No TDs. Tyreek Hill, though. Tyreek Hill was far and away the best player along with Alex Smith. 125 yards and a touchdown. Wilson had a touchdown. Kelsey had a touchdown on that one. But they just couldn't. I mean, they had a 30-21 lead in the fourth quarter. They blew it. But their body work has been just too good, and I can't kick them out yet. If they lose to Denver, it's a very realistic chance they'll be out next week. I'm going to keep them at 9 because their body work was too good, and they only lost by 1. So, nothing more to say. Kansas City Chiefs, number 9. Agree or disagree with that, MF?
Agreed. I'll give you Kansas City. I think that's fair enough. I mean, they only lost by 1 point. You can't really you can't penalize them for that. That's kind of a tough chore to say, the very least. And yeah, that was an unbelievable game. Only to lose by 1. Heartbreaking way to lose. But yeah, you can't really smack them around for that. So yeah, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. Number 9 is Kansas City. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Kansas City at number 9 as well. I mean, they only lost by 1 point, a heartbreaking loss to the Oakland Raiders. I mean, you can't really penalize them for losing the way they did. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So, number 9, Kansas City. Let's just move on to number 8.
Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is number 8. 30-27 winners over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good game to say the very least. Tight down the end. A key field goal was the margin of the victory. And I was a little on the fence because I was thinking about the Tennessee Titans here, though. But I'm not putting Tennessee in this week because they beat the Browns. And on top of that, they had to go into overtime to get them. Honorable mention, Tennessee Titans, but my number 8 is the team that was definitely circling the wagons last week, the Buffalo Bills. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Oh yes, number 8 is the Buffalo Bills. I mean, yeah, Fletch pretty much mentioned everything on them. So number 8 is your team, Florio, the Buffalo Bills. What do you think?
Definitely. Only thing is I have a tie at number 8, only because one of those teams were on bye, and that was the Houston Texans. So the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills are my co-number 8s. I mean, what can you say about my team, Buffalo Bills? Coming back, even though they blew an 11-point lead for Tampa Bay to take a 27-20 lead in the fourth quarter, Buffalo found a way to get it done, and they won 30-27. Tyrod Taylor, 268 yards. He had a touchdown pass, no interceptions. He did get sacked once. Bills defense with a sack and an interception of Jameis Winston, even though Jameis Winston had the game of his Shady McCoy, 2 rushing touchdowns, 91 yards. Very good game for him. Deontay Thompson, where did you come from, young man? 107 yards receiving. Awesome. Logan Thomas with a receiving touchdown as well. Shady McCoy had 122 all-purpose yards. He had 31 receiving yards as well. Hauschka missed 1 field goal, but he made the one that mattered at the end to give Buffalo the win. And Ryan Davis had the sack, but Jameis Winston and Matt Milano with the interception, 15 yards. Buffalo 4-2 at home. They had a very tough game against the Raiders. Very tough, but we'll see how they do. So Houston Texans and Buffalo Bills, co-number 8s. Last week I had this team in the and I think I have another tie here at number 7. Another bye week team, the Tennessee Titans. They are one of them. Well, Tennessee, I'm going to keep them in there because I had them in there. I would be doing a disservice to them if I kicked them out just because they had a rough time with the Browns, but they still won. That's all that matters. And their first place team. I wish MF would have reconsidered, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna knock them for it. Tennessee Titans are my first number 7, and my other number 7. Back in the power rankings, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, look what they did in Indianapolis. I mean, 27-0 beat down the Indianapolis Colts. 10 sacks for the defense. I mean, when we do the power rankings in the first half of the year, we usually do, the high impact games. But now that the records are starting to take shape now, I think we're going to start going by the records now. And Jacksonville deserves to be in here. I mean, they went into Indy. They've always had a tough time there, but they found a way to get it done. Bortles, 330 yards, threw a TD. He was sacked once, but that's it. Jacoby Brissett, though, was sacked 10 times. Unbelievable. Yeldon, 122 yards rushing and a touchdown. Earned over 100 yards receiving. I mean, but it was all about that defense, man. Yannick Ngakoue, 2.5 sacks. Calais Campbell had 2 sacks. Malik Jackson and Dante Fowler each had 1.5. Sheldon Day had a sack. Miles Jack had a sack. Eli Anku had a sack. And it's an all-around dominant performance. I know this team probably should be higher, but here's the thing, though. Now that we're starting to take shape of records, we got some other teams right now playing some very, very good football right now, and that's why they need to be recognized a little more. So I think now that we're at the halfway point, I think now we should start taking numbers of records instead of who had a big impact. That's usually in the early going, but that's just how I feel. So I know this team probably should be higher based on the performance, but I think we start going by records and hot streaks and all that good stuff. So co-number 7 is Tennessee Titans, Jacksonville Jaguars. I know this is going to be a disagreement, but I don't care. My story, I'm sticking to it. MF, disagree with me. I know you are.
I'll say this. I'm not gonna penalize the Tennessee Titans on this one because it was the bye week. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. Agree because I got Jacksonville higher. You absolutely missed the boat on this, Anthony Florio, and my number 7 is a tie. Tennessee Titan is 1. But I'm going to piss a lot of people off right now, and I don't give a damn. New Orleans Saints is my other number 7. 26-17 over the Green Bay Packers. All right, nice win in Lambeau Field, but there was no Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers was hurt. He's out for the season. And on top of that, you went up against a not-so-great quarterback. a guy who's making legitly his first start as the man for the team, and you handle your business. Nice road win. All right, you can do better, and I would like to see more from you. Obviously, I disagree with Anthony Florio on the fact that I think this team, about the overall look and the rating and the whole 9 yards. But you're in the right point, you're in the right thing. But it, the, any stock of Green Bay's greatness fell when Aaron Rodgers went out with the injury. Other than that, you did nothing for me, did no service for me whatsoever. So I'm sorry. I think Jacksonville, even though it was a shutout and what they did, and yeah, I get it, it's Indianapolis, but still, more better, at least in their situation, they have a decent quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, unlike what Green Bay's got. Sorry, you're not doing me any favors. So my number 7 is a tie. I give you the Titans. I'll give you that, Florio. You got the wrong second team. I got the Saints here, not the Jaguars. Bullock, it's yours.
All right, I got the Tennessee Titans as my number 7, but I got the New Orleans Saints just a little bit higher. I mean, not too high. I mean, it was still, to go into Green Bay and beat the Packers. Yes, I mean, they're not the same team without Aaron Rodgers, but hey, they took care of business. I mean, if they had beaten the Packers with Aaron Rodgers, they'd be flirting with the top 5. I'll say that right now. So Tennessee Titans my number 7. But like I said, I got the New Orleans Saints just a little bit higher, not too much. Let's move on to number 6.
Very well then. My number 6, Minnesota Vikings. 24-16 winners over the Baltimore Ravens. Note that the Ravens are not on the power rankings this week. They will be in the power rankings next week. Oh my, are they going to be in the power rankings next week? I'll even openly admit, even though they'll have a 4-4 record, man, that was a top 5, maybe top 3 performance. No doubt about that. So, as far as Minnesota goes, they handled their business. Not the biggest victory or not the most sexiest victory, but it was good enough for what it was worth. So, that gives them 5-2. They're still looking great. Top dogs right now in the NFC North, as our good friend Chris Berman used to say back in the day. So, nothing more to say. And Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
All right, I got a tie at number 6. The Minnesota Vikings is one of them. I agree with you on that, Fletch. Like you said, they basically handled their business with the Baltimore Ravens last week. But my other number 6, now this is where I have the New Orleans Saints. So, yeah, you pretty much touched everything on both of them. So number 6 is the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints. Florio, it's yours.
You got it, Bullock. I agree. New Orleans is at 6, along with the Minnesota Vikings. 2 hot teams right now. I mean, I like the body of work of both of these teams right now, and yeah, I mean, honestly, I really don't know what else there is to say on this. I mean, Minnesota. 24-16 over the Ravens at US Bank Stadium a week ago. They won 3 in a row. They're 5-2. They're looking very good in the North. I mean, their chances greatly improved after they took out Aaron Rodgers a couple weeks ago. They got an easy game against Cleveland in London on the NFL Network. Then they have a bye week, and then they're back on November the 12th with a tough game against the Washington Redskins. That's a trap game, especially in Washington. So let's keep an eye out on that. Defense recorded 5 sacks of Joe Flacco. Case Keenum didn't do much of anything. Latavius Murray, 113 yards and a touchdown in the win. Receiving game didn't do much either. But like I said, it was that defense with 5 sacks of Joe Flacco. Everson Griffin with 2, Tom Johnston with 1, Anthony Barr with 1, and Danielle Hunter had the other. So an all-around team effort for Minnesota against Baltimore. So there's that. And New Orleans. I had him in the top 3 last week, but I will give MF the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the only way they would have, if they had beaten Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, then they most certainly would have stayed in the top 3. Absolutely. But I gotta knock them down to 4. They have won 4 in a row. They're 4-2. They actually lead the NFC South, if you can believe it. They took advantage of Brett Hundley. Brett Hundley was a star at UCLA, but in the NFL, nah. Defense with a sack and a pick. Drew Brees over 300 yards, a TD. You threw 2 picks, though. That is a little cause for concern. Mark Ingram, 105 yards rushing and a touchdown. Ted Ginn, 141 yards receiving. Wow, big game for him. Michael Thomas, 82 yards as well. And, very impressive. Kenny Vaccaro with the interception, with the sack, and all of a sudden the New Orleans Saints, they have thrown their name into the hat in the NFC. Very impressed with their body of work. No question about it. So keep it up. So Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints, code number 6s. I 100% agree with Bullock. So now we get into the top 5, and this is where it should start to get a little easier now, considering the body of work of all involved. And I believe I have Seattle as my number 5. Let me check that. Yeah, it's Seattle at number 5. They're in the thick of that race in the NFC West. They're right there with the Rams, who are just a smidgen higher, if I'm going to be honest with you. Seattle's won 3 in a row. They're 4-2, half a game behind the Rams in the West. And if they knock off Houston, then they'll be tied with the Rams atop the NFC West, because the Rams are on bye this week. So I know I'm going to get a lot of flack, especially from MF saying, come on, Floyd, they beat the Giants for goodness sakes. Yes, they did, 24-7. Russell Wilson, 334 yards, 3 TDs. Defense only had 1 sack of Eli Manning. Running game didn't do much of anything. But Doug Baldwin and Paul Richardson and Jimmy Graham had receiving touchdowns in the game. And, it was basically a coming out for Russell Wilson. That's the best game I've seen him have in a long time. Jaron Reed had the lone sack. And it's just the overall body of work. And Seattle's starting to, get back up there again. So really nothing more for me to say on that, except the Seattle Seahawks are my standalone number 5. So nothing more to say, MF, about it.
Fair enough. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. Seattle definitely deserves it. So no, I'm not gonna make much of an argument for that. Trust me, I know there's gonna be a fight somewhere down the line where you and I are gonna drop gloves and we're gonna go. So, and who knows? It could be in these power rankings right now. One of them is gonna lead to a brawl. I feel it. But no, I agree with that. So no. You got it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. The Seattle Seahawks, they're my number 5 as well. I know some people would say, oh, you beat a team that only has 1 win, but they just did their job. That's all you can say of what they did. So, yeah, and if there comes a time where something breaks out in the when it comes to the power rankings, if Florio and Fletch go at it, I may have to get my referee shirt and try to break things up. So Yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Seattle Seahawks, they are my number 5 as well. So let's just move on to Fletch's number 4.
I at number 4. This is where I have the Jacksonville Jaguars as one of them, and the other one is all right. I'm actually debating. Because this one's actually tough because I got, you know what? Okay, the only reason why I'm doing this is because there's gonna be a few ties coming up, and it's really because of the record. The only reason why I'm punishing this team is because they're 3-3. If it was any other situation, I would be going a little more higher with them. But because they're 3-3, and because of the teams that they beat, I can't do it. Sorry, Alice. I know you're going to be yelling. I know you're going to be yelling to the high heavens. What the bleep are you doing, Michael Fletcher? But I got to do it. It was against the 49ers. That's a bottom feeding team, a winless team. It was 40-10. You did your business. You handled your job. Nothing more to say about it. This was one of those that even for me, I wish I could give you a better rating, and you guys deserve it. But when you got teams still out there, and I'm just gonna pinpoint the teams that are still out there. You know, we still have, and this is in no particular order, okay? So no particular order. But you got the Steelers, you got the Patriots, you have the Rams, you even got the Eagles. So there's really some teams here that I'm looking at the upper echelon of the power rankings, and unfortunately, as you saw, you're number 4. There's 3 spots left. Somebody might be on the outside looking in who's got a really good record, and I'm about to really anger somebody in the house. Somebody's going to get left out on my rankings, or maybe, you don't know. Maybe they do fill in the spots. I don't know. We'll wait and see, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to leave all you knuckleheads in suspense on this one. But you're not going to believe who I got at number 1. And let me tell you, it's not the team that you think it is. I'll leave that for thought. Anthony, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you. My number 4, Jaguars and Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree with Michael Fletcher. My number 4 is the number 4 is Jacksonville Jaguars, Dallas Cowboys. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. And an update now is official. The Houston Astros have taken Game 3 of the World Series, 5-3, the final score here. Yeah, I mean, nice win for the Astros to take a 2-1 lead in this best of 7 series, with Game 4 set for tomorrow night. A nice start by McCullers, and yeah, so really looking forward to see what happens tomorrow night in Game 4. So, and I think it's a critical game for the Dodgers because they really need to win because they don't want to go down 3-1. So yeah, Houston did their job, but Dodgers really need to bounce back. So
Point blank, Michael Bullock, if the Dodgers don't win tomorrow night, this series is over. I call for that to end in 5.
And that's why I'm saying tomorrow night's Game 4 is a critical one for the Dodgers, because if they don't win it, it's gonna be an uphill battle for them if they wanna win the World Series. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Flory, what's yours?
Okay, I had to make an indemnity. I'm glad you guys got into that because it gave me a chance to reshuffle. I got the chance to do a little reshuffling in my rankings. I'm moving Jacksonville up. I 100% made a dipsy do botcheroo on that one, so they should move up. I want to do something that doesn't happen often on this show. I have a three-way tie at number 4. Well, actually, no, I don't. I'm gonna go with you guys. The same two teams at number 4. It's gonna be the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys. I already talked about what Jacksonville did against Indianapolis. I mean, that beatdown in Indianapolis with the 10 sacks. Dallas, just as impressive. 5 sacks of C.J. Beathard. Dak Prescott, 3 passing touchdowns, 234 yards. Ezekiel Elliott finally coming out, 147 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win. Also had a 72-yard touchdown in that game as well. So, what do we have? 219 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns for Ezekiel Elliott. Finally breaking out. Dez Bryant, Jason Witten with touchdowns as well. And 5 sacks, Tyrone Crawford, DeMarcus Lawrence, Damian Wilson, David Irving, and Jalen Smith. So yeah, there's really nothing more to get into here. So Jacksonville and Dallas are co-number 4s, no question about it. So now let's move on to number 3, and I have a tie at number 3. This will be our final tie of the night. Give it up for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Rams, co-number 3s in the power rankings. Both taking care of business against division rivals. Pittsburgh taking care of business against the Cincinnati Bengals, 29-14 at Heinz Field. And it was close in the first half, but in the second half, it was all Pittsburgh. And the defense recorded 4 sacks and 2 interceptions of Andy Dalton. Roethlisberger with 2 touchdown passes. Le'Veon Bell over 100 yards again, 134. No touchdowns, though. Antonio Brown a receiving touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster a receiving touchdown. And let me see what we have. Tyson Alualo, Cameron Hayward, Bud Dupree, T.J. Watt had the sacks, and William Gay, Joe Hayden interceptions. So Steelers taking care of business against a division foe as only they should. And in my other number 3, you got to give it up for the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, what they did in London against the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they knocked Carson Palmer out. They shut them out 33-0 against a banged-up Arizona Cardinal team. And man, oh man alive. Jared Goff, a touchdown pass. The defense combined for 3 sacks and 2 interceptions of Carson Palmer and Drew Stanton. Todd Gurley over 100 yards and a touchdown in the win. And Cooper Kupp had a receiving touchdown in the win. We had Aaron Donald, Ethan Westbrooks, and Matt Longacre with sacks. LaMarcus Joyner and Mark Barron with interceptions. And, I mean, the Rams are right there. So, if not for the teams I have at 1 and 2, you can easily make an argument for them to be number 1. But the top 2 teams clearly deserve it. Nothing more to say. Co-number 3s, Pittsburgh Steelers, Los Angeles Rams. MF, how about it?
All right. One I agree with, one I disagree with.
Of course.
Hold on. The one I agree with is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I agree. Yes, they are right. And I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'll give you that as my number 3. That's one of the number 3s. The other number 3 and the team that I disagree with is the Los Angeles Rams. I disagree. I think they deserve to be higher, but they're not by number 1. My second number 3, and here comes the hate, it's the New England Patriots. I think they deserve to be number 3. Now, granted, beating Atlanta is a big deal. The way that they won the game, it is a big deal. They dominated throughout the game, except for that one little touchdown at the end where they blew up the shutout. But because of the overall body of work that I've seen from the Rams and the Patriots, and especially that dominating performance, I cannot, in good conscience, put the Patriots over the Rams. I can't. Just as a theory, even though I'll give you Atlanta is a better team, and the body of work is better. And you brought up everything about the Arizona Cardinals and what happened in that game. And I will give you that, Florio. You got every right to put the Rams where you got them. So you don't try to jump or say, "Oh, that's an indemnity." No, you're absolutely right. You got every right to do it. But in my opinion, my feeling, I'm going to give the Rams a better ranking because I thought their performance was a more impactful performance than New England. Now, don't get me wrong. New England played a great game, and it was a damn near perfect game that they played against Atlanta. But I'm also going to include the fact that, maybe you can talk about the fog being a factor or some other stuff, but I'm going to tell you that vicious touchdown that me and Michael Bullock saw and basically lost our minds over when Julio Jones ripped that ball from Malcolm Butler's hands, like, give me that. I have to also equate that as a domino effect. If it wasn't for the shutout, if it wasn't for that, instantly I would have given you New England at number 2. I could even go for them for number 1, but I'm not, and they don't deserve that. Number 3, Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots. My thoughts only. That's it. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with Fletch. I mean, call me crazy. I am a Patriots fan. I have every right to put the Patriots ahead, but he made some compelling points. Yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers and New England Patriots are my co-number 3s as well. And I just think the LA Rams and the way they've been playing, I just think, and what they did last week, I think was a little bit better than the Patriots. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on to number 2, Fletch.
Well, my number 2, this is where I have the Rams. I think now people knows where my number 1 is or where it's residing. But I gotta say this was without a doubt the best performance by the Rams all season long. And let me tell you, man, they have really shined and surprised quite a few people. If they can continue to get the love from the LA crowd, man, you know what? The one thing that they were saying was, if you put a winning product on the field, the people will rally around it. LA, you got a winning product. You got a really good team that's looking great, and Sean McVay, that young head coach, the youngest head coach in the NFL right now, I'm telling you guys right now, he might be the coach of the year with the body of work that he's been doing, the way he's been playing that team. Jared Goff has not hit the sophomore slump. Todd Gurley looks like the best running back in all of the NFL right now. He's looked amazing. Defensively, they look amazing. Offensively, they're hitting on all strides. I love the Los Angeles Rams, and whoever thought I would ever say that? about this team. This team, it's almost close. It's not there yet, but they kind of are starting to remind me a little bit of the greatest show on turf, the St. Louis Rams of the early 2000s, of the 2000-2001 Rams. And we know how good they were. They won a Super Bowl, and they should have had a dynasty if it wasn't for that game in Super Bowl 36. They were going to be a dynasty at that point. They were right there. But I will say this. The body of work that they've done is unbelievable. Yeah, my number 2 is the Los Angeles Rams. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, my number 2 is the LA Rams as well. So yeah, I'm really starting to believe this team, and I've said it before. I mean, whatever Sean McVay is doing there, I mean, he's really making this team look really, really good. So, I mean, I know we're halfway through the season, but I've just been fairly impressed with them. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So Florio, it's yours.
I'm not going to be the prisoner of the moment. I'm sticking with my story. I know the Rams should be number 2, but let's be realistic. It's Arizona. Arizona, not as good as they were a couple of years ago. Yeah, they knocked out Carson Palmer. They broke his arm in the whole 9 yards, and they shut him out. But the reason why I have to go with the New England Patriots at 2, they not only beat the Falcons for a second time, but they dominated them. Yeah, they gave up that Jones touchdown. Yes, I'll give you that. But it's the fact that the Patriots beat the Falcons. That's a bigger deal for as far as I'm concerned. Brady, 2 touchdown passes. Defense had a sack. And, maybe not the prettiest of wins, but, Gostkowski with a few field goals. Brady found Brandon Cooks and James White for touchdowns. And 23-7, I mean, a game that I thought was going to be a Shakespearean drama classic like we had in the Super Bowl, it wasn't even close. So that's why I have to give the edge to New England, dominating that Super Bowl rematch. So they're number 2. There's nothing left for me to say. Number 1, we're all in agreement on this one. Bullock and I had him at number 1 last week when MF wasn't here, and they're number 1 again this week. The hottest team in the NFL right now. Fly, Eagles, flies, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 1 again, 6-1. Winners of 5 in a row. Taking care of business against the Washington Redskins, 34-24. They got an easy opponent against the Niners. Heavily favored. I think they're the biggest favorite of the week. Carson Wentz, 4 touchdown passes. The defense had 4 sacks and an interception of Kirk Cousins. And, 4 different receivers had touchdowns. Zach Ertz, Matt Collins, Nelson Aguilar, Corey Clement, and 4 sacks for the defense. Derek Barnett had 2 of them. And Fletcher Cox and Malcolm Jenkins had the other. Corey Graham had an interception for 14 yards. And man, oh man, I mean, if they keep this up, I hope they keep it up, because if they keep it up, we won't have to deal with any EDP 445 tirades. So as long as they keep winning, they'll keep that noggin diva very happy. So let's keep him that way. I don't like it when he goes on those epic rants. So, man, oh man, and of course, San Fran is next, and they should have no trouble with them whatsoever. And then after that, but then once you get past San Francisco, then you've got a couple of tough games. You got a home game against Denver. That's a tough game. Then you got a bye week, and on the day of the Survivor Series, they're going to be at Dallas. Their next easy game won't be until Thanksgiving weekend when they host Chicago at home. So let's see what they can do. So nothing left to say. Number 1, fly, Eagles, fly, Philadelphia Eagles. Come on, MF. I know I got this one right.
No, you got it. This one, this is the most easiest call of all. Yeah, no doubt about it. Philadelphia Eagles, unbelievable performance what they've been putting out lately, man. They're just getting better by the week, and they're getting stronger, and that's more scarier. You want to talk about a doomsday scenario, man? You're looking at it right now. This team is unbelievable. They're just playing with the moxie, the attitude. They got it's like they're just that darn good, and you're like, oh my god, what is with this team? It's like you're wondering, like, are they gonna hit the wall soon? What is going on? And they're not hitting nothing, man. They are looking so good, so strong. Um, they're that amazing, man. There's really nothing more to say about it. I have to say it. I love Philadelphia. I love what the Eagles are bringing to the table. They are playing like a world championship. I'm gonna say it. They are playing like a team that could be in the Super Bowl. Honest to God, they look like that team that could be there at the end, that could be playing for the Lombardi Trophy this year. I can't believe I'm saying that, but they are. So, there's really nothing more to say. The number one team for, I guess, the second week in a row is the Philadelphia Eagles. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yes, number one again for the second straight week is the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's just put a bow on this edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday.
That's exactly what we're going to do right now. So whoever wants to lead off with the shout outs, it's yours.
I'll take it. I'll take it for a spin since I already have my mic on. So, yeah. Of course, we thank you so very much for tuning in for another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Friday. Of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers who continue to support our shows, whether it's this, uh, Ridiculously Raw, the Cerebral Smack Talk, uh, Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. We thank you all so very much for your support, and we appreciate it very much. Of course, sh- shout outs to all of our super fans out there. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. Uh, to our local personalities from 6, 10, and 12, our national personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, and all the other networks out there. And of course, Stata Sorrell and Lindsay McCormick, and of course, our friends from the Roadshow. Of course, former co host Mary Larson and Megan Mooney. And of course, the three current people Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, Michaela Johnson. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me. So, until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy your weekend, everybody, and enjoy all the football action. So, Fletch, I give it to you.
I just want to say thank you to all the great fans out there for making the show as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. To the super fans, you guys know who you guys are. The friends in the junior high and high school days, you can know who you guys are. The 2184 crew, love you guys to death. And that's it for me. So until then, Mike Fletcher, you know the team, Jose Hand I'm out. Have a good night. So long for now. Anthony, it's all yours.
Yes, indeed. A special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. 70 views for our TLC preview last week, so very grateful for that. Of course, special shout outs to, of course, Dee Woodson. Extra special shout out to Dee Woodson, who couldn't be with us on either of our wrestling shows this past week, Ridiculously Raw or the Sprinkle Smack Talk, because, due to illness and whatnot. So we wish her the best, and hopefully she'll be back with us Monday night. So, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family, of course, Matt Ward, Jason Nixon, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, and of course, our other crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Braderson, and Rob Parsons, and of course, last but certainly not least, one more time, very special shout out to Derek Ferreira for helping us out last night, for being so nice enough to take over the hosting duties for College Football Thursday and running that show like he did, as only he could. 30-minute show, well done. So extra special shout out to Derek Ferreira while we had our commitments last night. So big ups to him, no doubt about it. So and of course all of our personalities from 6, 10, and 12, and all of our other personalities, from ESPN, FS1, MLB Network, NHL Network, NFL Network, NBA TV, Status Terrell, Lindsey McCormick, Julie Alexandria, Chantel McCabe from the Golf Channel, and our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson, along with the former co-hosts Megan Moody, Mary Larson, and of course, last but not least, my wonderful friends and church family over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Bible study. A little after 10 service, and then Wednesday night at 7 Bible study. I believe we made it official on Sunday, November the 19th, which is also the day of the Survivor Series. There's going to be a very special Thanksgiving fellowship meal after service. So we hope you'll come and join us for that. It's a very special time. We look forward to seeing you all there. Hopefully we'll see you guys there, but we'll find out. So, yep, and that's it for my shout outs. And of course, Monday night we got Ridiculously Raw. Sorting out, we'll review Monday Night Raw, my latest Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling as we continue the road to the Survivor Series. And of course, Tuesday night we got Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Braves Fan 95. We'll review SmackDown Live. We'll see if there's a Mike Eats Mindset now that Lucha Underground is out of the way, and we'll see if anything comes up with that. And then Thursday night, barring any commitments, we'll have we should be back for College Football Thursday coming up, and we'll let you know who the big game is for that next week, and of course right back here next week for another edition of NFL Friday. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Floyo here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson, and of course Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy all of the college and NFL action. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Strictly Sports NFL Friday right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long.